Hello, this video that I'm doing today is on a one-handed module for your Android device. It's put onto the phone. If your phone is rooted, your phone must first be rooted, and then you can install Xposed Installer, which is an application that requires root. And then from there, it has modules that you can download in order to mod your phone, tweak your phone, and customize your phone if it's rooted. So you go into the Xposed Installer, and it has tabs here. So it has the framework tab. That's for the installer itself. There's certain frameworks that you need in order for these modules to work. And then there's the modules, the downloads, the settings, the logs, and the about. So mainly we're going to focus on modules and downloads right now. So we're already in downloads, so we're just going to keep it in downloads. Now, when you go into the downloads, if you see here, everything that you see listed here has gold underneath it, and that gold says installed and what version it is. But once you get past what you've installed, you're going to get just white modules, and these modules are what's available for download. So the list is in alphabetical order, and it just goes on and on and on and on and on. Okay, so when you go to download, of course, some of these modules you would have never even heard of. You won't even know what they do. But the beautiful thing about them is you can tap them, and you can see what it is they do in detail. So there's a description. So you tap it, and this is the one-handed mod that we're discussing. And it says for all devices. It's nice when they tell you what devices they work for and what devices they don't. I've had quite a few mods that didn't work for my phone. And I went through all the trouble of getting them, setting them up, and then they didn't work. So it's really good when the developers know what phones they work for, what phones they don't. So I go in here, and it gives me a description. The other thing is, if the description is not descriptive enough, a lot of times they'll give you links. These things in blue are links that allow you to go to the developer's page and get more information. So if you click that link, it's going to open your internet browser and take you to most often an XDA developer's page, or they may have their own website. And it gives you more information. It gives you screenshots, what it looks like, when you activate it on your phone in different ways. So a lot of times it may give you more details and more information if you need it. Once you download a module, then you can go into the modules tab, because it's now a module. It's not just a download. When you go here, you have the option to check it, which activates it. Even though you download it, it's not going to be activated until you check it. And it's not actually going to make changes to the phone until it's rebooted. So let's say I just downloaded a module. I would need to check it, and then see, it says, let's see what it says. Changes will become active on reboot. So it lets you know it will be, activated, technically activated, or functionally. It's technically activated now, but it'll be functionally activated once the phone reboots. So I'm not sure if I want to use that one just yet, so I haven't activated it. But we'll go to one hand. So one hand is checked, it's active, it's functioning. If I wanted to make it non-functioning, I just would uncheck it, and then I would have to reboot the phone in order for it to no longer work. So it's checked, and then you simply go out of the phone, and in all the modules that you download, it's going to give you an icon for them, unless there's something that is built into the settings. And then sometimes it'll give you a settings option inside the settings, like it'll give you an option inside of the settings. So this one gave me two icons. They're here at the top right corner. These two icons, one is for the settings and one is to turn it on and off. So the one at the right is for the settings. You go inside of the settings and you see it says settings for app. This is where you turn it on and off. So even after it's activated, you still have the option to turn it on and off within the app, which is really great. So it doesn't stay active if you want to turn it off, manually. You don't have to always go into the installer. That's kind of more permanent. But the way that this works is that it uses your pixels on your phone in order to determine where it'll be located when it's launched. So I have mine located the way that the picture describes, at the bottom right hand side of my phone. So I'm right-handed, so I use my right thumb. So I pretty much have it positioned so that I can use my right thumb for everything on my screen when it's in one-handed mode. So in order to do that, I had to tell my phone that I wanted it to be 500 pixels away from the left margin and 700 pixels down from the top margin, because my phone is 1080 pixels across. So I pretty much divided it into 3 and used that number, and then put it in the mod and saw whether or not my thumb was still in a good position for it, and then I added a few 50 or 60 more pixels to it to get it just right. So 500 pixels worked for me. And the same thing up and down. I just divided it into 3. It's 1920. So I divided the 1920 into 3, and then I put it in the one hand mode to see if my thumb would work. And then I added like another 100 pixels to that. So that's where I got 700 from. Well, that was pretty much an accurate number. 700 was pretty much right. So I just needed to, at that point, just change the pixels a little to get it just right. But once I divided it, that number was pretty much right. They also have presets here. So you can do bottom right, bottom left, bottom right big, bottom left big, bottom middle, and squash down. I'm not sure what squash down is. The rest are kind of self-explanatory. I haven't used any of the presets. And then once you decide what it is, the pixels work for you, and that's what you want, then you can press apply. It would be really great if, like some other apps where you have to size something, if they had a transparent box over top of this application that demonstrated what it will look like once it's activated. But they don't have that, so you got to kind of play with the pixels and then, start the app. And then what you want to do is you want to turn it on as well. So once you apply the changes that you made, you want to also make sure that you turn it on so it'll be ready for use. You can do the same thing with your notification, but the thing that I don't like about that is that the notification and the one-handed mod are not connected. So you see how this has an on and off button as well. If it's on and you turn your one-handed mod off, it still stays on. So then your notification still stays in the one-handed mod function. And I just think that's too much. I would like them to be linked. So since they don't, I leave mine off and I leave my pixels at 0, and that's that. So once you do that, you can pretty much come back out of the application, and then you can click the on and off button that allows you it's still off. Okay, I have to apply changes when I turn it on. There we go. So you're officially in one-handed mode. You see it shrunk down to about a third of the size of the screen. It's about halfway across, as far as the pixels are concerned, across horizontally. It's about half the width, and vertically it's a little more than half. And then you have that big chunk up there in the upper left corner that's missing. So it's about a third of the screen. You hit the home button, and it does everything that it would do if the screen was large. It's just small. And so with me having a 5.9 inch screen, this feature is really nice to have. I know that they're built into the Samsung Note 3. And I think it's a really, really great feature. I'll show you the apps and how they work. I'll show you the file browser. A lot of them just make the adjustment. They just, like this, instead of having, you know, a page of 4 or 5 rows, it just gave me one long row of every folder that's inside. I hit the home button again, and let's see what the music app does. So we tap the music app, and the thing about the app is anything that's over top of the pixels that you selected, you're not going to be able to touch it or do anything with it. Oh, well, the music app, that's not true. I'm able to touch these. But that's pretty cool, because in some apps, anything that's over the pixel that you set does not work. And so this is the music app. And then you come out of it. So, of course, it doesn't show the whole picture because it doesn't shrink down like the Play Store. Let's see what the Play Store does with the one-handed mod. See, this is one where, see, I'm touching the play, where nothing above the pixel works. So I can hit the back button and I can touch this Angry Birds, and that's not going to work, but I can touch this Angry Birds Seasons and it'll go to the Angry Birds Seasons page. So I guess if they give you this dividing line, like how the search bar says here, you know, nothing above this search bar is going to work for you. So with some apps, that actually causes them not to function. And I'll show you what app that does. It's the IMB app. It actually doesn't register anything but the scroll, and you can't press play, select these things. Oh, it let me this time. So I guess with some stuff it's a hit or miss, but of course it plays everything in landscape.
My son's name was Josh Manning.
And so, oh, well, that worked this time, which is interesting, but it still won't let me scroll across. And it won't let me scroll across these to pick anything new. So, I mean, you really can't use the app, you know, the way you would want to in one-handed mode. Let's see a couple of games, how they function. Because a lot of the games do landscape. And it shrunk it really, really, really small. But it's so small. It's so small you won't even be able to play it. So. I can play it, I just can't see it. So that was just something to see what happens. But the Kindle reader, that shows up small, but I don't know about enlarging it or enlarging the letters. I would almost think that this would be something that you wouldn't want to use in the Kindle app. But let's see something that's easier to get our hands on inside of the Kindle app to see what that looks like. I have a magazine inside of here. Now, of course, it takes you longer to find stuff too with it this way because your screen is smaller. So this is the app. Oh, but it shows the magazines nice and small. I mean, and then you can blow it up. Oh, so it does actually show you the picture. But that's not too bad. So the Kindle app actually works inside of it. And if you want to read, if you want to do more than just, you just enlarge it and then you're able to read. It still doesn't make the letters very large in comparison to when you have the whole phone screen lit up, but that's pretty decent. Let's see the email app, the email client. Once again, you have this line, so nothing above that line is going to register. But I could click this one and open that email. So email client is like, why bother? YouTube. Let's see what YouTube looks like inside of this. So there's some apps that you probably won't use just because but the YouTube app,
some really good ones.
They're so tiny. Why don't you put them in the TV?
well, YouTube app, we see it does its thing and it works. All the way up to the top. Oh, it does everything. So the YouTube app, surprisingly, is something you could actually use in one-handed mode. Let's see Netflix. Of course, I can't select that because it's over the line. Yeah, this is another one that won't let you scroll sideways. But I can actually play a video. The one that's my first one listed. I'll see what that looks like. So everything's like right on top of each other. And it's really small, and then you blow it up and it just widens it, but it doesn't heighten it. So Netflix isn't very usable in one-handed mode. Let's go to another game. Let's see. Oh, this looks like this is going to show up pretty well. Okay, let's see if the buttons register. Ah, I think so. So this, like Angry Birds, it's actually a bigger screen. So if you can see it, it looks like with the games you can play them. Yeah, so it works. It seems like it's a little slow as far as response time. It slows everything down just a little bit because it's, it's keeping it shrunk even though it's supposed to be. But you can see your app drawer. Your app drawer looks the same as it always did. You can still select and choose things from your app drawer. I'm just curious to see how the this game will play. Temple Run Oz. Not right now. Not right now. Let me just go. Well, it looks like it's regular. We'll see if the touches and the swipes register. Okay. Touches register. The tilt works. Oh, swiping down didn't work. I swiped down and he didn't fall. So let's see if that was me or the game. But tilting works. Swipe. Oh, it worked that time. So that was me. It was user error the first time. Oh, I guess because the screen's so much smaller, I'm having a hard time swiping. So that's not very much fun to play on there. And we did the browser. Let's try a different browser and see if it just shows up a little better. Same deal. It actually, this one doesn't even work. And let's see about phone call. So the phone would, you see you're missing your whole third row of numbers. So I guess what you'd have to do with the phone is you'd have to do everything through voice dial if you were going to use your phone. So the phone works, but not in its traditional way. Everything didn't shrink down. Let's see about the camera. How the camera. Oh, I have my phone inside of a case. Oh, let's pull it out of the case. So the camera seems to be working just fine. Took a picture, and those are my settings. And let's see. Yeah, so the camera works inside of it. So let's see how the gallery shows up. Oh, okay. So it is a miniature version of itself. So if you have wallpapers, there they are. Everything still shows up. And you just select. And there it is. Let's see about a video. How does a video do? Inside of your gallery. Okay. So that just shows up in the middle of the phone. So the gallery works just fine, like it's supposed to. So that's pretty funky. These are the pictures that I just took. Or one of them that I just took with the one hand, with the camera being one-handed. So yeah, well that's nice to see that the gallery, it seems like all of the apps that come into the phone work pretty well with it. This is the drive. Of course, you can't read anything, but everything shows up. You can upload, create, scan. So that's pretty cool. The drive works. And when you want to get back out of it, you get out of it the same way you went into it. So you go back into your application that turns it, your icon that turns it on and off. And you click it again, and it goes from one-handed. Hold on, it's not doing it for me this time. Normally, you could just turn it off. Oh, you have to press apply. And you press apply. And it goes back. But normally, I was able to just tap that again and it was turning on and off, you know, going big and small for me. But essentially you go back into it, you turn it off, you press apply, and your phone screen goes back to its normal large size. So I hope that this video helps someone. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.